Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We like to, from time to time, highlight those who have given above and beyond of themselves. And that can be within their career, their personal lives, just those who have supported others. Give it above and beyond, essentially. Found somebody today whose long educational career, I really do mean the word long. It blows my mind that she's been doing what she's still doing for how long, but that's because she's so exceptional. And we make her our PhD Professional of the Year. Dr. Rose Ann Fleming, sister, joins us here. Welcome. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much, Steve.
I have to honestly tell you that many times when we spotlight people like yourself, they're usually retired. I got to tell you, and there's nothing wrong with that. But here you are, live and direct from Xavier, Cincinnati, Ohio, in your office, and still doing what you've been doing for years. I'm not even sure how many years. I know it's a lot. I don't want to put a number on it. I want the accuracy there. How many?
Well, I've been in education since 1954. I finished college in 1954, went to Europe for about 3 months with my aunt, actually. And when we came back, I entered about 2 weeks after I got back from Europe. So I had finished college. I had a teaching degree. I mean, not a degree, but I majored in English, but I had a teaching certificate in Ohio at that time. And I started the day after I entered, actually, teaching one of the minors on the certificate. It was history. So I've had a long time, since 1954, actually teaching. And when I came to Xavier, and they asked me to develop the academic program for the athletes so they could be sure to graduate if they worked hard enough. And so during that time, I said, well, I would be glad to do that, but may I please continue to teach one class a semester? And they said yes. So I was able to continue teaching, and except for the years of administration at the Summit Country Day School in Cincinnati and at Trinity College, now Trinity, Washington University in DC, I've been teaching every day.
Wow. And do I have this right? You started at Xavier in 1982?
1982, I came over. Yes, I came to Xavier. I started teaching English here, 1982.
Amazing. If anybody's doing the math on it, let's go there. You've already passed your 90th birthday, right?
Right.
Wow. Does it feel like you're even close to 90?
No. In fact, yeah. I feel better now than I felt. I mean, I always felt well, but I feel just as good, right? Let's put it down.
Wow. Do you think that a lot of that might have to do with working in athletics in that arena? Has kept you young?
Actually, I've never really worked in athletics. The academic advising for athletes that I did for, actually, I stopped doing that in 2010, but I'm still part of the office here. But I don't have a specific assignment to do just academic advising right now. I'm special assistant to the athletic department. But what we do is, in general, have a dual reporting responsibility, one to athletics and certainly one to the provost and the academic deans of the Department of the Liberal Arts Department, College of Liberal Arts.
I guess I should clarify what I meant by that also. In working with younger people keeps you young. Would you say that?
Oh, yeah, that's very true, I think.
Yeah.
I've experienced it.
I feel the same way, and anytime that I can work with an intern in the media area, whatever, it's like, yeah, come on. Yeah. Because you learn things about today that you might not be as plugged into, and that's all normal, because we're not living their lives. But how How about working with the coaches along the way? You had some pretty closer relationships because of what you do, right?
Right. Uh, yeah, that was my key to access to the players, actually. Uh, After I was appointed to this job in 1985, the job that you referred to, uh, I thought, oh my goodness, I've never been in a Division I school before. I have to learn a lot about this. So I started making appointments with the coaches, particularly basketball coaches, and then men's basketball, women's basketball, and then soccer and all the other 19 sports that we take care of now. And they were very, very helpful. First of all, the coaches are very well educated. Many in those days had master's degrees anyway, so they knew exactly what we were talking about. Had been through the routine themselves and knew how important it is for a young man or young woman to be able to graduate not only with Division I athletics in their background, but with a degree that they can actually use uh, immediately, if not in the field of sport or whenever that opportunity of sport is over, they can use it immediately to get a job and to begin life for themselves.
Now, you mentioned degree. You have 6.
Do I?
In my research, you do. And that being said, even if you had 3, that's an accomplishment. What inspired you to stay committed? Because it's not easy. We've got so many things pulling us in life. How did you stay focused and committed?
Well, it was a question of assignments of jobs that that both scared me and motivated me. Uh, I was, as I told you, I had the license to teach at Ohio. But when I got the job to be an administrator, similar to, let's say, a superintendent at Summer Country Day School, it had several schools on one campus. And so I got a certificate as a superintendent. That's one thing I did. And I thought, gee, I need more than this. So for administration purposes, I registered for my doctorate at Miami University, and that was very, very helpful. It,
Hmm.
Administration is different from teaching. In a way, it's a little bit like it because it's in the same institution. But other than that, you have to be very concerned that the people that you're depending on, faculty and staff, understand what the institution needs, what the students in general, and you're all pulling in the same direction.
Sure. And that's a big responsibility when you're an educator. And that's for anybody that is, it's fantastic. But you have to depend on basically yourself. Now you have others to get that done. How about your parents? Were they instrumental in pushing you toward continuing with your education?
Oh, absolutely. Both my parents were dedicated to it. I think partially because my mother had an excellent education in Chicago. She died though when I was in the 4th grade. And one of the things my father told me is when I wanted to enter the Sisters of Notre Dame after high school, my father said, "Nope, I have promised your mother that I would see you and your twin brother through their college education. So please, please help me to fulfill that promise that he had made to my mother as she was dying." So I knew education was very important to my father.
I have to share with you. And I mentioned part of this earlier, and this is not about me, but we have an interesting connection here. So your mom passed early. My dad passed early.
Yeah.
Your name is Roseanne. Now wait for it. Your name is Roseanne. My mom's name was Roseanne. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is you have a twin brother?
That's right. Well,
Roseanne.
Now, but it was a few years ago. Yeah.
Roseanne, I have a twin sister.
Really?
Yeah. You can't make this stuff up. It's like right away, I felt like some weird connection to you. And then as we're talking about it, yeah, I wasn't even going to bring it up until you said you have a twin brother. And it's one thing to have a twin, but for it to be a fraternal twin, like, that doesn't happen all the time.
That's right. And my parents tried to treat us equally. what they liked about Summer Country Day School where we went was that it was separated. The girls were with the girls and the boys were with the boys,
Sure.
and yet we were on the same campus getting the same education. So that's how that got started.
So you mentioned that your dad sent you away, and I mean that in a positive way, to Europe. I think in your low 20s, he said you're going. Let's do it.
What my father thought was, and probably was not too far off at the time, that if I entered the convent, because he asked me to wait till after college, which I did. He said, "You will never get out. You will never get out again. You will be in the convent, and you won't get to travel, and you won't get to do this and that." And I didn't know if I'd get to do it or not. That's not why I was entering the convent to begin with. But sure, I want to go to Europe and see it. So I had the opportunity. And the reason he stayed home was my brother, to get through college at that time, had to get in what was called ROTC. And that enabled you to finish college before you then got assigned for 2 years someplace in the world. And so my dad did not want, he was going to leave, well, during the summer, to go fulfill his 2 years in the army. And my dad did not want him to leave alone. So he said, "I'm going to send your aunt with you, and I'm going to stay home and make sure Tom has somebody here before he leaves." So that's what determined that.
Wow. What an experience, though, to get that all done, to have that kind of travel. It's one thing to be able to do it, financially, logistically, all of that, but to have the confidence to just, I'm going to Europe for a while. And, especially, when you're years ago, things are a little bit different. That's that's an accomplishment in itself, I have to say. Many years at Xavier, 4 decades, you said. Was there a moment where you said, "This is where I'm going to stay. I'm staying here for a while"?
Yeah, there was a moment early on, and I knew I was in the right place. And it happened several times. I met with faculty at lunchtime, just sat down. It's kind of a newcomer to the campus with faculty, and we had lunch together. And from what they were saying, these people are so dedicated to the students' good. I couldn't get that out of my mind. And then, of course, I became familiar with the mission of Xavier. And I understand that their mission is to serve the students individually as each one has a need. And I wanted to do that. And I thought, I'm in the right place.
What point in that 4 decades did that pop into your head?
Probably first year I got here, 82.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. Like when you know,
Yeah.
and you knew.
Yeah, you do.
And do I have this right? Your jersey still hangs from the rafters?
Yes, it did. I was in there last night watching the women's basketball game, and I looked up and there it was.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. I'm not sure I really deserve that. I think it was the kindness of the athletic director that thought that up, but it makes me feel like
I have to politely disagree. You do deserve it. Because, even factor out the type of player you may have been, the fact that you're still in the capacity that you are for many years. And it's not even just about age. It's the experience and the wisdom that you've gained along the way that you can share with future generations is just, so notable. Moving forward, what are you looking at? Any things that, on the back plate, things that you're looking to accomplish?
Well, to be honest, I'm just grateful I can do what I'm doing now, which is teaching one class at Sport at the Service of Humanity, and and if I can do that for another 3 or 4 years, that would be a godsend for me.
Wow.
And if it doesn't work out, that's all right too. Yeah.
I have to commend you on your energy, and it's not the The energy to wake up every day and go to work, the more the energy that's coming off of you and your passion, because I envy you. You know, sure, we all want to be productive and working at 90. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. However, what's coming from you, the passion, it's not just a job. It's way, way more than that. And I see it in your smile. I see it, I feel it. It's just that it's amazing. It really is. I have to be honest and tell you that. Do a lot of interviews, and not like this, coming from somebody like you. Tell me who Sister Teresa is.
Uh, I think you're probably referring to Sister Teresa Mary McCarthy that I met while I was a student at the summit.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was finishing up the eighth grade, and Summit was a small school. It is a small school, and most of the faculty there, like the sisters, knew my mother. She was very active in her early days, in a voluntary way, helping the mothers organization. They used to call it, now it's parent teachers organization. So they knew that she had passed away, and Sister Teresa Mary stopped me in the hall one day, and she said, "I just can't wait to get you in my homeroom next year." And I didn't even know. I'm like, "You can't wait to get me? Why?" And she said, "I think you're a very interesting person, and I want to get to know you better." I'm like, I really didn't even know what she meant, but I asked her. I said, "Well, what do you mean interested?" And she said, "Well, every time I've seen you, you have your back up against the wall, and some sister standing in front of you scolding you." And I'm like, "Oh." And so, as I kept thinking about her, and I did get placed in her, I thought, here's a person that really is interested, really cares. She went out of her way to stop and talk to me like that. And she's that way every day that I have her down for homeroom and religion and class and Latin. She taught Latin. And I thought, I'm going to do everything I can that she wants me to do. So I did my assignments, and I did well in school, and, gave me a brand new reason to do something right because somebody cared. And that has impressed me with my contacts down through the years. If the students that you have, know that you're interested in them, know that you will work hard for their success, they're going to do everything possible for themselves. They think they're doing it for me, and that's fine. I want them to do it for themselves.
Well, Sister Teresa, every student is important, but she did detect something in you. And I feel I did in just a few moments of meeting you. I feel it. I want to talk about faith for a moment. Xavier, there's a lot of faith in the hallways, shall we say. What is faith? What is faith to you?
Well, I think that word is on a variety of different levels. But I think what that basically means on a human level is a relationship with God, and a real strong belief in his existence, in his love for us, and his infinite goodness to us as individuals. The dogma that you believe, you get from your church, and we belong all to different churches. The Xavier, it's a Roman Catholic institution, but certainly I think we probably have over the years, and currently perhaps even, members of many, if not almost all, primary global religions represented. And not religious in the sense that I'm about religious, but religious in the sense that they belong to a church and they have certain dogmas by which they live. But at the bottom of it, it's a belief in a superior being that's all powerful and loves us.
Do you think it also means faith in yourself?
Well, certainly the fact that we exist, yes. I mean, that's a miracle in itself in many ways. that we exist, and that for me, that we've existed for so long. And we exist for a purpose, and that is to know, love, and serve God, and to live with Him then forever. And that purpose doesn't change.
I agree with you that we're here for a reason. There's a purpose. There was whatever intervention there was to put us here to serve others.
Yes.
And sometimes it's a challenge to find out, or it takes time to find out what your life's purpose is.
Yeah.
Have you found yours?
I think so. In a continuing and an involved, in evolutionary kind of way. I think the basic purpose certainly doesn't change, which is to do good to others as you can with your gifts, and for the love of God. What others need from time to time changes, and if you have the background to be able to help them fill that need, then you continue to do the same thing. And if you don't, you find somebody that does.
What's your advice, Roseanne, for students in the future? How to stay the course, how to stay committed. What would you tell them?
You have to set your mind on being intentional. Whatever they feel driven to do in their heart.
It's interesting.
And never give up. Go ahead.
Well, once you feel it, never give up. It's interesting. The word intentional has come up for me a lot this week in terms of what we do. Even a New Year's resolution, setting an intention, doing anything, setting the intention. Let's say you want to meditate. Why are you meditating? Set an intention, essentially a goal, and then stick to it. Fascinating talking with you today. It really, amazing. What do you work 5 days a week?
I do.
It's just like I'm in awe. I truly, from my heart, I really mean that. And again, it's not about or just about your age. It's your passion for what you're doing and continuing to do it. So commendable. And just final question here. What does it feel like when you think of all the students over these 40, 50 years that you've helped shape along the way? What does that do to you? How does it make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel so grateful that I've had the opportunity, and I hope I've been a help to a little bit of help to some of them, and hopefully most of them. And as I say that, I'm so aware of people that have helped me along. I mean, all these years, I've received help from other people, and that perhaps is part of the energy that I have to extend it out to others.
Yeah, we can never forget, and it's funny. Even as you say that, in my mind, I have flashes of people that have helped me along the way, and I'm even thinking in this split second that you said that, of reaching out to them again and just saying, hey, I was cleaning the other day, the beginning of the year, you're going to, purge some stuff in the office. And I came across a card I got from the woman that ran the library in my high school. And she sent it out of nowhere about 5 years ago. She tracked me down. And she was the one that approved video equipment for the school, better video equipment. And that essentially was the start of my career. And I don't even think she knows that. Ms. Jeslak. And out of nowhere, she just sent a card. She says, I just want to say hi. I'm watching what you're doing. And it brought tears to my eyes. And it did the other day when I saw the card. It's like, just her words and everything that, was there. And I don't even think she realizes just by, signing off on. And back then it was $4,000 in the video equipment for the school, not for me, but for the school. But that was wow. All right. We got some good stuff. I can do something with this. But it's people like her, people like you that shape our future. And that's why we make you PhD Professional of the Year. Roseanne, thank you so much for being with us today. Congratulations and so much more to you moving forward. Because
thank you. It's been my privilege, and thank you for the recognition.
Same here. And I've seen pictures of you back in the day. You look younger even now than then. I'm not even kidding. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what the secret is there.
Nothing mysterious. I do exercise as often as I can daily, and I think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. As I got up today and every bone in my body was aching, I said the same thing. I got to get going. I got to be Roseanne. Wonderful talking with you. Congrats again, and all the best to you.
I wish you the best too, Steve. Thanks.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.